Alright, hey everybody, this is Jacob. I'm doing my presentation on drop-downs using JS plugins. Alright, the first step, everybody knows when you do code, you start somewhere, and that would be in the HTML. So obviously you start your doc type, you got your HTML tag in there, and you throw your head in there. You link your style sheets. I'm using a font style sheet from Google APIs, and then you also link your modernizer. Now, because we're using a function that is not just normal JavaScript, you have to make sure that that type of functionality is usable by the browser, that the person who is watching or using that piece of coding is capable. Alright, the next step is we'll go ahead and move on to the body tag, and inside of that we got the div tag with the container class. You got your header in here. Now obviously none of this portion is necessary to make the code work for what this is about anyway, and it's the drop down. The part that matters is all of this. This section right here with the class of main, the div class of wrapper demo, and the div ID of test1, and wrapper drop down -1. You have a span in here. Now you technically don't need the span, but you can. The places I was looking at and researched this on there, some of them had it, some of them didn't. But you got your class of dropdown, which that's a necessity. You need the class of dropdown, and this is just a regular unordered list, a regular UL, and then this is just a regular list item. You do have your hrefs right here. Those are a necessity in order to make the dropdown work properly. We'll go on and go down here to number 2, test2, class of dropdown, class of wrapper, dropdown -2. Here's your hrefs, and we're gonna go ahead and ask the person what they want to sign into by adding a dropdown. Okay, and we'll ask them what sex they are, or gender they are, whether they're male or female. Alright, I put up here that we're going over 5 different layouts. Now obviously there's only so many ways you can make a drop down, right? But you can add classes with icons, you can rename sections. The reason why I changed these is because they all are going to look different in the end. CSS does wonders. You can look up your own CSS, but I'm going to show you what mine looks like, and or what my end result looks like rather, and you can see if you like one. If you want the CSS for it, just let me know. I can send it to you. And you got your test 4, well, you got your test 3, got your test 4. Now you can see here that this is not just a regular href. This is an input box. It's got a checkbox there in each row. Alright, for milk, eggs, and carrots. Alright, and this is just another regular drop-down href going to a user profile, preferred settings, and a logout. Now obviously you can make these say anything that you want to, and put the specific size of icon in that area. You can make this literally universal across whatever application you may be in at that time. Several things to note. These are all done in divs, but you can use other syntax. Like you can use paragraph, you can use forms, you can use articles, I've got them also inside of a section, it's inside of a div, inside of a section. So, once again, these are normal unordered lists and list items, hrefs, that everybody has seen many, many times. The parts that matter most are the IDs and the classes. Okay, and last but not least, to tie them all together on the HTML page, you need your JavaScript. You need your jQuery. So I'm just reaching out and grabbing the ajax.google APIs jQuery page. This is the minified version. That way it's not so much of an overhaul on the page, and it loads a little bit faster. Not really noticeable though, to be honest with you. Not with this size of a page, but if you were in a large application, you may notice it a little bit more. And then to continue with those scripts, I've also got my main.js page. Now, I'm going to show you my main.js page right now. Now, we have 5 different pieces of JavaScript. They're all laid out a little bit differently, but they all do pretty much the same thing, I guess you want to say. But the function is dropdown. That's the biggest plugin part, is function dropdown. You got your EL, this.dd equals EL. You got your placeholder. This.ops equals this.dd.find. And we got to find the unordered list dropdown, and that's outside of the list items. Then we'll go ahead and make an on-click function. So whenever you click the same row that each placeholder or span is on, it will then toggle the class and make it active. Okay, and then if you re-click it, it removes it. Okay, it removes class of active. But this right here will it'll return the values from the previous or from the drop-down areas. The second one, it's a lot shorter. The second one and fifth one I noticed were a lot shorter when I was writing these and reviewing and researching. So this one just goes to initial events, does the prototype initial events, does the on-click function to toggle class to make it active again, and then event stop propagation, open close paren, and semicolon. We all have seen the dollar signs. Those are jQuery calls to the new drop down for test 2. And then whenever you have the document click function, it's going to remove the class of active. So you click it once, it makes it active. You click it again, it removes the active. Same thing with 3, just like I said. This one's more or less like 1. It's a little bit longer, but it does the same thing. It toggles the class of active. You have a couple more areas. And then you can toggle the class of active. You can return it false if it's already active. It needs to be closed. So it'll go through the object, it'll add the values, and once you click it again, it will then remove the class of active and hide the values again. Part 4, this one had a little bit different of a setup. I saw some in arrays in here, some splices, and some pushes. Now the only real difference that I saw in part 4 was that whenever you click the checkbox, that it put a line through the actual name of the item. Now, this is one area that I'm not extremely familiar with, so I did do research on it, and I couldn't really find enough of an explanation to be, uh, very positive on what this will do for me. So if you have any ideas, go ahead and throw them to me. But that's what that one is. And last but not least, you got your own click function, and then your click function again to remove the class of active on the fifth one. I reviewed over these things a couple of different times, and I found that this one right here, this last one, works. It's simple, and it works pretty much everywhere. So, unless you want some extra stuff to happen with your drop downs, like the line through the name, or if you're making a list and you want to check it off or something like that, then this one right here is a pretty much good universal one. Now what you'll see in the end is the custom. You'll see these different drop downs here. Like this is demo 1, 2, or test 1, 2, and 3. This is what just the drop down looks like to begin with, and I'll show you the active version here in a second. Here's 4 and 5. You got your grocery list and then me. And here's what they look like once they are active. You got this. Now I'm going to show you what they actually do when you're actually looking at them. So I use brackets. Here's my code. So, and you can see when I'm highlighting, it's highlighting the whole piece or whatever the section is. So, here's my HTML page. You got my main.js page. Obviously, you've got some CSS and some images and some fonts in there. But so you get to this and you get your gender. You select it. You can hover over it and it makes it a little bit grayer. You have a hover function in the CSS. You click on it, it goes away. Doesn't really do anything after that. Obviously, none of these are meant to go anywhere. Excuse me. Now, obviously over here we have some more CSS differentials. You have it grades out when you hover over it. You got your Twitter, your GitHub, and your Facebook. Sign into What's. You can click it and it opens, and then you can click again and it closes. You can be anywhere on the page and it will close. Unless you're on another one. Now, you can close it, you can click outside of it, how to send your mail. Snail mail, UPS, or spaceship. And then grocery list, this one was the one I was talking about where it checks it out. You can click inside the checkbox and it will line out the item. You can click anywhere in the line, and it will line out the item for you. And then my name as user profile, preferred settings, and log out now. Now these are just some different ways. Like I said, I've got CSS on these. So if you want the CSS for them, if you find a version that you like, I can give it to you. And I'll be more than happy to direct you to where I got my examples and how where I got the coding to write and followed step by steps and how-tos. Just let me know. Alright, well thank you all very much and y'all have a great one.